Hi everyone, in this video I'll be reading Miraculous, a fanfic based on the show Miraculous and Cat Noir, and I call this one, checking my list, Miraculous Scavenger Hunt. This is the first draft of it. So, there will be a lot of spelling errors and grammar mistakes and stuff, so, because when I'm writing I'm more concerned about getting the sentence out on paper than I am on the spelling of words in the sentence. So yeah. All right. Okay. I think everything's on camera. Good. So, this is a Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir fanfic. It was written February 13th, 2021 and finished February 13th, 2021. I got the idea in 2021. I don't put that in many of when I got the inspiration kind of thing. My characters are Mari, Ladybug, Alia, Nino, and Adrian, Nino, Adrian, Luca, Alex, Max, Cat Noir, Chloe, and Kagami. My references are to Julika and Kim. So, in the school hallway, Alia says, I know you have a lot on your plate, Mari, but could you plan my birthday party? Mari says, I was actually gonna ask you if I could do that. So, yes. What do you think of a scavenger hunt? Alia says, I love that, but then you won't be able to participate. Yeah, that looks like a cross between a P and a D. Participate. Okay. Then you won't be able to participate. Mari says, I realize that, but I'll be fine. Now, just give me a list of the people you want to invite. Alia says, you're already doing the entertainment part of the party, so I'll cover the invites. Mari says, okay, what day are you planning on having your party? Alia says, this Saturday. Okay, says Mari. Tell your guests to meet at my bakery, at my family's bakery. Alia says, okay, will do. It's now Saturday, and Mari, Alia, and Nino. Let's try that line again. It's now Saturday, and Mari, Alia, Nino, Adrian, Julika, Luca, Max, Kim. What the heck happened to my L? I swear that's an L, not a C. Alright. Julika, Luca, Max, Kim, Kagami, and Chloe are at Mari's bakery. Mari says, since we're all here, follow me up to the living room. Everyone is now in the living room. So, the way this works is you will be in teams of 2. I will email you the riddles. Once you get to the place where the riddle leads you, text me, and I will text you an activity to complete. You then have your teammate film you doing the task, and vice versa. Then send me the video proving you did the task, and after I see the video, okay, let's try this again. You will then have your teammate film you doing the task, and vice versa. Then send me the video proving you did the task, and after I see the video, I'll give you the next riddle, and repeat for the following riddles and tasks. Alia says, sounds like fun. Mari says, great. So the birthday girl gets to pick her teammate. Everyone else will draw names out of a hat for their teammate. Alia says, so I pick Nino to be my teammate. Mari says, so, no one picks their own names? Adrian, Alex, Julica, and Chloe will draw names out of the hat. Adrian says, can I draw first? Mari says, sure. Adrian then picks a name. Oh, Luca, you're my teammate. Let's be honest, if this was an episode in the show, they'd definitely pair up Luca and Adrian. Definitely. Because drama. You know. I don't know if that's where this is going. I can't remember. I've written over 300 fanfics now, so... Okay. Anyway. Alia thinks, that's gonna be interesting. Mari says, Alex, you pick next. Okay. Reaches into the hat. Max, you're my teammate. Max says, sweet. Yes, that's sweet, not sweat. If it reads as sweat, it's supposed to be sweet. Sorry. Max says, sweet. Mari says, okay, Julica's next. So... Julica has speaking lines. One second. Okay. Julica says, Kagami, you're my teammate. Mari says, and last but not least, Chloe. Chloe says, finally. Oh, Kim's my teammate. Mari says, great, so the teams are Alia and Nino, Adrian and Luca, Alex and Max, Julica and Kagami, and Chloe and Kim. Here's the first riddle. Sends the question. I stand above the rest. What am I? I am not great at creating riddles, okay? It's not my strong suit. Good luck, everyone. So, I'm only going to be focusing on 2 teams because 5 is a bit much. So, just 2 teams focused on, and the others I will reference. Alia says, man, this is tough. What is this? Nino's like, oh, I know. Whispers in Alia's ear, it's the Eiffel Tower. I don't know if that was a good riddle. I'm sorry. It's not my strong suit. I don't normally come up with riddles, so I'm a novice in riddle creation making. Anyway. Nino and Alia are at the Eiffel Tower and have texted Mari. Mari says, now that you're there, take the elevator up while one of you films the other. When going down, switch roles of the photographer. Then send me a video when you're done, so there's proof that you actually did that. Alia says, Alia and Nino do the task. I actually had to look up, because I've never been to Paris, if there was actual elevators in the Eiffel Tower. So, I actually had to look that up for this. So, yes, it was right. I was right. Okay. There are elevators in the Eiffel Tower. I've never been, so... Alright, anyway. Alia and Nino do the task, and as they come off the elevator at the bottom, they see Adrian and Luca. Alia sends the video. Okay, Mari, what's next? Mari says, great video. Here's the next riddle. Nino and Alia go somewhere to read it aloud, where no one can hear them. Where none of the other competitors can hear them, meaning. Don't go down that path. Alia says, this makes no sense. What's today's new? Nino says, move your thumb, Alia. Oh, says Alia. That makes more sense. What's today's news? It's the news station, says Nino. Meanwhile, Luca and Adrian are going up the elevator. Luca is filming first. So, Luca says, so, since this will take a few minutes, I want to ask you a few questions. Adrian says, okay, shoot. Luca says, do you have a crush on Mari? Adrian's like, can you turn off the audio first? Luca says, oh, sure. Pretends to turn off the audio. Obviously knowing it's going to Mari, so. Alright, still on camera? I believe so. Let's just move it up a bit. Alright, good. Adrian says, yes, I like her, but I thought you were dating her. Luca says, what? What? I do have a girlfriend, but it's not Mari. Sure, I like her, but she likes you more. Adrian's like, wait, who's your girlfriend? And Mari likes me? Luca says, I'll give you hints on the first one. And as for the second one, I ask, how do you not see it? The stuttering is a total cliche of someone's crush on you. Really? I can't believe she likes me. So, who's your girlfriend? Luca says, she's got blue hair, looks really good in red and black, and is a really good fencer. Okay, so Luca says she's got blue hair, looks really good in red and black, and is a really good fencer. Adrian's like, wait, is it Ladybug? Luca's like, no. Why? Sorry, no, why? Do you also like her? Adrian's like, please don't laugh. Luca's like, I won't. Yes, I'm also crushing on Ladybug, says Adrian. The two are now at the top. So Adrian and Luca switch roles as switch. Adrian is now filming. Adrian says, if your girlfriend isn't Mari or Ladybug, who is she? Luca says, don't be mad at me, Adrian. Why would I be mad? Luca says, 'cause you liked her before. Well, who is it? Luca says, Kagami's my girlfriend. 'Cause I feel like those two would be a cute couple. Oh, those two would have been such a cute couple. Ugh. Kagami and Luca? They would have been cute. Okay. Anyway. Luca says, Kagami's my girlfriend. Adrian's like, what? You know what? I actually understand that. Luca says, Adrian, you can't tell anyone. She wanted me to keep it on the DL. Adrian says, tell you what, I'll keep your secret if you keep mine. Luca says, don't worry, I won't say anything about your crushes. Adrian says, I wish I could say that was my only secret, but it's not. I'll tell you while we're heading to the next stop. Alright, MMJ says, alright, MMJ is myself, yay, my turn. The two are now getting off the elevator, and Luca sends the video to Mari. When they get off, the other three teams were there. Marinette has watched Luca's video and is in her room with Tiki. Mari says, oh my gosh, Adrian likes both sides of me. And Luca and Kagami are dating? Didn't see that coming. Tiki's like, first, you can't let Adrian know about the crush, nor can you say anything about Luca's girlfriend. They clearly thought they turned off the audio and didn't. Mari says, you're right, Tiki. Oh my gosh. That should be an uppercase. That should be an uppercase. Ugh. Okay. Alright. Luca texts Mari again, asking for the next riddle. Oh, sorry, here it is. Sends the next riddle. Adrian says, I know where that is. The news station. Luca says, great, let's go. Now, back to Nino and Alia, whom are now at the news station. Alia says, Mari, we're at the news station. What next? Mari says, go to the receptionist and say you're here for the birthday party. Scavenger hunt. She'll explain the activity. Alia and Nino go into the news station. Alia says, hi, miss. We're here for the scavenger hunt birthday party. The receptionist turns around. She had been looking at something behind the desk kind of thing. So Miss B, the receptionist turns around. Wait, Miss Bustier? I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right. You work here? Miss B says, only on weekends. I needed to pick up this job since, oh yeah. Yeah, she, had a baby. That character. Oh. At this point, I guess in the show, she was pregnant, when I wrote this, so, Miss B says, only on weekends. I needed to pick up this job since I'm going to have a baby soon. Oh, that's right, her character. Oh, I forgot about that. Ollie's like, oh, okay, so what's this activity? Miss B says, okay, it's simple. Just read what's on the teleprompter without messing up. Nino says, Alia, you go first, birthday girl. Alia gets it the first time, but Nino struggles with it. Now back to Adrian and Luca, whom are on their way to the news station, and there's no one around them. Adrian says, so you told me your biggest secrets, so it's only fair I tell you mine. Luca says, that's okay, you don't have to do that, Adrian. Adrian says, it's okay, I've been dying to tell someone else. Luca says, okay, you can tell me, I'll keep your secret. Adrian says, first, I know you're Viperian. Luca's like, what? How? Adrian says, I was there when you received it. Luca's like, no you weren't, it was just me, Ladybug, and Cat Noir. Adrian's like, exactly, I was there. Luca's like, wait, are you saying you're Cat Noir? Adrian says, yes, I am, but I'm not technically supposed to tell anyone, so... Luca says, don't worry, your secret's safe with me. Adrian says, I'm so glad I could finally tell someone. Meanwhile, with Nino and Alia. Nino says, oh no, Adrian and Luca have caught up. Alia says, you can do this, Nino. I believe in you. I believe in my boyfriend. Kisses him. Nino kisses back. Okay, attempt number 5. Hopefully I can do it. Nino says, Nino completes it just as Adrian and Luca get there. Luca texts, we're at the news station, Mari, what next? Mari sends them what to do. Alia and Nino send Mari the videos. Mari says, great videos. Here's the next riddle. Nino reads it out loud. Huh? It says, what does the blank say? Sorry. I couldn't resist that. I couldn't resist it. Okay. All it says, fox is the blank, but how does she know I like foxes? That's a new liking of mine ever since I became Rena Rouge. Nino's like, you're right, that is weird, but where are we supposed to go for that clue? Ollie says, must be my place. Alia and Nino are now at Alia's place. Alia texts, okay, Mari, we're at my place now. What next? Or, we're at my place, what now? Mari says, you need to find a fox statue and take a picture of it. Then send it to me, but leave it there. Thanks for the info, says Alia. Where? And Nino says, where is it? This is going to be hard. Meanwhile, with Luca and Adrian. Luca says, that was fun, Adrian. Yes, it was. I'm going to text Mari that we're done this one now. The two sent the video. Then Mari texts Adrian the next riddle. Lucas says, now that's a tough one. Adrian's like, I got it. The missing word is fox, just like the song. And since Alia's favorite animal is a fox, the clue must be leading us there. It's at Alia's place. Back to Alia and Nino. Nino says, there it is, just in time. Luca and Adrian are almost here. Alia says, quick, take the picture before they see us. Nino takes the picture and sends it to Mari. Mari says, great, here's the next riddle. Alia reads aloud, in the bakery is where I'll be. Red and black is what you'll see. I tried. Meanwhile, with Adrian and Luca, Mari has sent them the task. Meanwhile, with Adrian and Luca, Mari has just sent them the task. Luca's like, where is this thing? Oh, there, says Adrian. Back to Mari and Tiki. Mari says, now that I've given the last riddle, it's time to transform. Tiki says, Alia's going to love your gift, Mari. I sure hope so. Anyway, Tiki, spots on. Again, that should be an uppercase T. Did I forget how to write? Alright. I'm getting my Tim's bunny mug, which has tea in it, because my voice is getting dry. Or throat is getting dry. I think it's mostly weather, but could also be my recording here. Adrian takes the photo and sends it to Mari. Ladybug uses her civilian phone. Ladybug, using her civilian phone, says, here's the next riddle. Adrian says, to the bakery, Luca. Back to Alia and Nino, who are now in the bakery. Alia says, we're in the bakery now, Mari. What's next? Find a red and black doll and bring it to the living room, where a surprise is waiting for you. Nino says, what red and black doll? I don't see anything. Ollie says, it must be this ladybug doll. So there's enough for every group, by the way. It's like an Easter egg hunt. There's one for each group. Alia then grabs the doll and runs up to the living room. In the living room now. Alia says, oh my gosh, Ladybug! Ladybug's at my birthday party! Ladybug says, happy birthday, Alia! Congratulations, you're team number 1. Oh man, I must have been watching The Amazing Race at this time. Anyway, that's clearly some inspiration from that show. Alia says, oh my gosh, I won! Yay! I wish Mari was here to see this. Nino says, speaking of Mari, where is she? Ladybug says, oh, she's picking up pizza. She did tell me to reveal 3 of my hobbies behind the mask to the first and second place teams. Okay, so here they are. Gaming, sewing, and baking. Nino says, wait, that sounds familiar. Ollie's like, yeah, just like Mari. Oh my gosh, Ladybug! Are you Mari? Are you and Mari one and the same? Ladybug says, I'll answer your question when all the teams get back. The other teams are just finishing up the Fox Riddle Station. Are currently finishing up the Fox Riddle Station, while Adrian and Luca have just gone to the bakery. Luca says, we're at the bakery, Mari. What next? Ladybug says, find a doll that is red and black and bring it up to the living room. Adrian says, here it is. Adrian's like, here it is, passing it to her. Luca and Adrian run up to the living room and Adrian finds it, grabs it, says, here it is. Then Luca and Adrian run up to the living room and are now there. Adrian says, Ladybug, what are you doing here? And where's Mari? Ladybug says, Mari's just getting pizza. You're team number 2. And because you're team number 2, Mari asked me to tell you 3 of my hobbies behind the mask. And they are gaming, sewing, and baking. Luca says, you don't think she's Mari, do you? Because they have the same hobbies. I've got the Y in they. Because they have the same hobbies. Adrian says, what? That's impossible. There's no way they're the same person. Ladybug says, okay. Ladybug says, oh, welcome, Alex and Max. You are team number 3. As the two are trying to figure out who is behind the mask. Or the 4 groups are trying to figure out who's behind the mask, kind of thing. So Adrian and Luca are off to the side when Max and Alex come in. So, yeah. Anyway, Ladybug says, oh, welcome, Alex and Max. You are team number 3. Max says, oh my gosh, Ladybug, I'm such a big fan. Wait a second. Where's Mari? Ladybug says, getting pizza. Alex says, oh, okay. So, Ladybug, are you ever going to go out with Cat Noir? Because I'm a Lady Noir shipper. Ladybug says, did Cat Noir put you up to this? Alex says, what? What? No, I'm just curious, that's all. Ladybug says, oh, okay. And just between us, whispers in Alex's ear, I like both Adrian and Cat Noir. Alex is like, what? No way. Max is like, what? What did she say? Alex says, just that she's crushing on 2 boys. Wait, what 2? Asks Adrian, worried. Ladybug says, I'm only going to reveal 1. And right after this, hi, Julika and Kagami. Kagami says, oh my gosh, how did Mari get you here? Ladybug says, oh, she never told you? Did she? Oh, she never told you, did she? She's my twin sister. Adrian's like, wait, you 2 are related? Ladybug's like, yes, that's why we look so much alike. Adrian whispers to Luca, there goes my chance with her, because no matter who I ask, the other will be mad. Just then, Chloe and Kim come up to the living room. Chloe says, what? We're the last ones? Ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. Oh, Ladybug, I'm so sorry you saw me like that. You're my hero. Ladybug says, it's okay, I'm used to that coming from you. Chloe's like, what's that supposed to mean? Ladybug says, it means we know each other behind the mask. And when I'm in my civilian form, you tease me. Chloe's like, what? I've only ever teased 1 person, and you can't be Mari, brat. That's right, that was one of her nicknames for Marinette. Behind that mask, Ladybug says, before I give Alia her gift, my crush is Adrian. Adrian is the reason I always rejected Cat Noir. Luke is like, that's hilarious, Adrian. It's hilarious. Adrian is what stops you from going out with Cat Noir. Alright. Alia says, why is that funny, Luca? Luca says, no reason. Ladybug's like, anyway, before I gave you Alia her birthday present, I asked that the next few things you see must stay between us. Got it? They all say, got it. Ladybug says, so you can't unwrap this gift, but Mari tells me you really want to know who I am under the mask. So your birthday present is finding out who I am under my mask. Okay, here goes nothing. Takes a deep breath. Okay. Tiki, spots off. Alia says, why didn't you tell me sooner, Mari? You're a ladybug. Sooner. Mari, you're a ladybug? Sorry. Luca says, Adrian nudges him. Tell her. Mari's like, tell me what? Adrian says, you're not the only one with a secret identity in this room. Mari's like, what are you saying, Adrian? Luca's like, and Luca responds with, why I was laughing earlier will be explained in 3, 2, 1. Adrian says, plague, claws out. Mari's like, what? You're Cat Noir? Cat Noir says, yes, my lady. So, will you be my girlfriend? As Cat Noir. Alia says, Mari, say something. Mari's like, sorry, I was just in shock. Yes, 1,000 times yes. I'll be your girlfriend, says Alia. Says Mari. Alia then says, I'm so happy for you two. Mari says, thanks. So, let's all head downstairs for cake. So let's all head downstairs for cake. Me, Cat Noir, and Luca will meet you there in a few. Cat Noir is like, what did you want to talk to us about, Mari? Mari says, I think you guys forgot to mute your videos in the elevator, so I know what you said. I heard about your two crushes as well as your girlfriend, Luca. I heard about your two crushes, Adrian, as well as your girlfriend, Luca. And I just wanted to be honest with you two about that. Thanks, I appreciate that, Mari. Cat Noir says, first, plague, claws in. Second, thanks for being honest, Mari. Mari says, you're welcome, and Luca, you should tell your friends about your girlfriend. Luca says, really? Because we were worried most about you two being mad at us. Adrian says, we're not mad at all. Lucas says, that's great, though they're probably waiting for us. Mari says, you're right, and I'm the only one who knows the location of the cake. The three are now in the bakery. Mari says, sorry I made you wait. I'll go get the cake now. It is now, Mari is now coming out with the cake in her hands as they all sing happy birthday. As Mari starts singing happy birthday, then the rest, happy birthday to you. The rest of the guests then join in singing happy birthday to Alia. Alia then blows out her candles and says, thank you, Mari. This has been the best birthday ever. Mari serves everyone cake, and Luca takes Kagami aside to tell her the plan. Luca says, since Adrian and Mari are a happy couple, don't you think we should tell them about us? Kagami says, you sure they won't be mad at us? Luca says, I'm sure. I meant I'm, not I. I sure. That's not how people talk. I'm sure. Luca says, I'm sure. Tiki says, or not Tiki, Kagami. Well, how did I mix those two names up? Kagami says, okay, let's do it. Luca says, I would like to get everyone's attention now. I would like to get everyone's attention, please. Now everyone is staring at Luca. Me and Kagami are dating. Everyone claps happily. Alia says happily, oh, that's sweet. All these happy couples hugging Nino. This has been a great birthday. Everyone enjoys their cake and the fact that there's no more secrets between them. The end. And that's it for this story. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching.